Everybody else in this area falls down to their knees and begins to worship this gold statue, except Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Listen to me. And young people, y'all really listen to me. Just because the majority is doing it does not mean it's the will of God. The majority doing something does not dictate that it's the will of God. Matter of fact, if you really start seeing in the scriptures, it seems to be the remnant, the small amount, the few that rise up and end up doing the will of God and changing the course of a nation and changing the course of a kingdom and causing laws to be changed. It's usually the remnant, the small, the few that rise up and say, look, I see everybody else is doing it a certain way. I see that everybody else is wanting to bow down and wanting to fall to their knees and worship this statue, but I'm not doing it. It's contrary to the ways of my God, of his kingdom, and I will not bow to some gold statue. And listen, we have to come to our place in life. We have to come to our place as Christians, as believers in Jesus, that we have to really get determined to take a stand for righteousness. I'm not saying necessarily go stand on the street corner and shout. If that's what God leads you to do, go for it. But just in your everyday life, notice that none of these Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they weren't preachers. They were really kind of like politicians. They were serving this country. They were serving in their job. They weren't behind a pulpit teaching the law. They weren't in the temple. They were out about in the midst of the world, in the midst of the kingdom, just like the majority of you. You're out and about at your jobs, at your life, at the football games, at the baseball games. And just because the majority is going one way does not mean it's the will of God. And we have to get to a place in our life where we trust God, getting a little bit ahead of myself, but where we trust God in the midst of the majority going a different way.